Now, I think it goes without saying that not everything we saw in the new trailer for Episode 8 can be taken at face value. In fact, I think the absolute safest bet here would be to listen to the words of Luke Skywalker himself when he said, "This is not going to go the way you think," because that is about the only certainty I'm taking away from this trailer. And I mean that in two respects. First, I think Episode 8 itself isn't going to be anything like some of us, and I'm pointing at myself right now, have been speculating it would be like. Whatever secrets this movie will reveal are likely things we could have never guessed at, which is an extremely exciting prospect in my opinion. And second, I would trust nothing we saw being alluded to, which is probably not what a lot of you are hoping or even expecting me to say right now, but that is my honest takeaway from this trailer. Because one thing this trailer did allude to was the possibility of Reylo happening, which is something I do think will happen on some level. Maybe not a romantic level, but I certainly think there has to be a dynamic relationship between Kylo Ren and Rey to make this story interesting. It can't just be about them hating each other. However, if this is truly going to be the big twist, or one of them, I just don't know you even hint at it in this trailer. That just seems like one of those things they'd want to come out of the blue at people when they watch the movie the first time, even though, of course, it's been a rather popular theory amongst fans. Personally, I think when Rey is asking to be shown her place in all this, she's actually talking to Luke rather early in the movie, after he's more or less rejected the idea of training her because of that raw power within her that scares him. To me, she looks and sounds like she's pleading with someone, and I don't think she'd have to plead with Kylo Ren to train her. Luke, however, seems like he's afraid of her and wants nothing to do with her, and certainly doesn't want to train her. She also looks and seems a bit too calm to be dealing with Kylo Ren there, because let's not forget the last time these two met, he'd killed Han right in front of her. Now, that of course doesn't mean that Kylo won't be reaching out his hand to her later in the movie. I just don't think that Rey will necessarily be asking for him to help her, or that she'll be quite so calm. And I do think that Kylo extending his hand to her, or someone, is happening towards the end of the movie, considering his face has pretty much healed completely, and only a scar now remains at that point. And if it is someone else, the real question would be who. Rey seems like the only real choice here that makes sense, which again doesn't mean she'll ask for help or even want it, but I do believe it means Kylo is still very much interested in being her teacher and may ultimately fill that role. Which brings me to something else this trailer very much reiterated for me, that this trilogy is as much Kylo Ren's story as it is Rey's. And though I know some will disagree with me, but I think it's clear that Kylo Ren is going to be the only Skywalker of this new generation, which means Rey is something new and different entirely. And I think at the start of the trailer, when Snoke is speaking to someone about them having raw and untamed power when he found them, I think he's speaking to Rey, not Kylo Ren. Because if the other sources of canon have any merit, and maybe they really don't, who knows, but it's been heavily implied that Snoke has had his eye on Ben Solo since before he was even born, so saying that when he found him just doesn't make much sense to me. However, it would make sense that he'd found Rey at some point and maybe even started to train her, but she was rescued by Luke. Which would relate back to Luke saying that he'd seen that kind of raw strength only once before, and how it didn't scare him enough then, but does now. And that could mean that when he rescued Rey from Snoke, he saw that she was too powerful for her own good, so he somehow locked away her powers and wiped her memory and left her on Jakku because the light side nexus there would hide her from Snoke. Though I don't love that idea because I just can't imagine Luke leaving her with Unkar Plutt, but who knows. Plus, by him saying it didn't scare him enough, kind of implies that Luke regrets his actions and thinks that maybe, just maybe, he should have destroyed Rey back then instead of just hiding her. Then again, this could all tie back in with Kylo Ren asking about what girl in The Force Awakens because Snoke speaks of her and is still looking for her, and somehow, someway, Kylo Ren had an inkling that this random girl who helped Finn in BB-8 was the girl Snoke had lost years ago. This would of course also explain why he was surprised that she was just a scavenger, because if Rey was so powerful, as Snoke likely told him she was, why didn't she become more than a scavenger? And the bond that exists between Kylo Ren and Rey could then be just something as simple as they've both been apprentices of Snoke at one point. Now, one of the things I found most interesting in this trailer is that Rey will encounter Snoke in this movie, and that surprises me quite a bit, and now leaves me with the question of how she's going to get away from him, or if she even does. Maybe this movie ends with her being his prisoner, either that or someone saves her, with the only real candidates being Luke or Kylo Ren, because I don't see her saving herself from him, because if she does that, well then what the hell's the point of this trilogy if she's already powerful enough to defeat Snoke? So then does maybe Luke give his life to save her, as unbelievable as that might sound, since I don't think any of us are ready to see Luke die already. Then again, that'd be a hell of a surprise. Does maybe Kylo Ren save her, and if so, does that mean he'll turn on Snoke already, assuming he will at all? Seems a little early for that, which again really makes me wonder how she's going to get away from him. It also makes me wonder what he's doing to her or wants from her when he tells her she's fulfilling her destiny. And to touch on a few other things real quickly, it looks like the Finn and Phasma rivalry is indeed going to be taken to the next level, as I kinda thought it would be. And I also really liked Poe's line about how they would be the spark that would light the fire that would burn the First Order down, and how it was once a spark of rebellion that ultimately destroyed the Empire. I also found it very interesting that they implied Kylo Ren may fire the shot that blows up his mother's ship, though again, that could be total misdirection. And that's the problem with this whole trailer. It's impossible to know what to believe and what not, and the only way to really know how this movie is going to play out is to wait until December 15th. Well, that's all I've got for you this time. Now it's your turn to tell me what you thought of the trailer, and if everything in it was just taken totally out of context to throw us off, or if we should take some of it at face value. So leave a comment below, and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.